Don't stop dreaming, dreaming. Keep on singing. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Standing tall. Da-da-da-da-da.
Hello and welcome to our second episode of That's
What
We
Think.
My name is Helmut Reiter.
And I'm Shalia Michelet.
Shalia, you look wonderful. Let me see your earrings.
Okay, kind sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, for our visitors, for our people who watch this video in Germany, Austria and Switzerland, you can turn on the subtitles, the German subtitles down with the three little dots. And so you're also up to date in German.
The topic for today, Helmut, is this too much, too soon? What are we talking about? We have to be talking about the lifting of regulations and the mask mandate, okay? Excuse me, I just want to know, has the COVID pandemic ended? I just want to know, has it ended with the strike of a pen, or should I say the stroke of a pen?
Looks like
Okay.
it.
Or the signing of a document. They've said it's ended now. All right. Governments have lifted mask requirements and have loosened or dropped altogether the regulations, with the exception of a few entities like pharmacies and hospitals, which are still under the mask mandate. However, there are rising COVID infections. Rising. That means going up. And it begs the question, is dropping basically all mandates and regulations too much? Too soon? Go.
Right away, I think it's too much, too soon. Yeah, exactly like you say. The main problem is all this regulation and law what were put on us in the last months were on one hand ridiculous, on the other hand it changes every second week. Yeah? So the people getting cold and hot all the time, so they are just fed off. They don't want anymore. They don't. Some of them, including me, sometimes I didn't know anymore. Where can I go with which kind of thing, with which regulation? Do I have this test, or do I have a PCR test? Do I have this formula, or that formula? Can I go to this concert? Can I go? It was not clear anymore, you know. So people are just they are finished with this whole pandemic stuff, and I think the politicians saw that there's nothing to do anymore, so they have to open it. It's not wise, not at all. Or the scientists, everyone actually says it's too early, it's too soon. We are in the middle of an uprising. 1 month ago they predicted that the curve will go down.
You mean a COVID infection rising, the rising rate. Okay, go ahead.
Just shortly they predicted that the curve will go down, and the end of February.
Who predicted this exactly?
Yeah, also scientists, and this one group what we have in Austria in our government, they're supposed to tell the politicians what's going on a scientific way, Therefore, the politician can make some kind of decisions to the best of all of us.
Okay. If I can cut in here for a minute, I'm just going to play pro-con. I'm sure that some of the entities have thought this through, and they had to weigh up costs of, so to speak, of lifting all these regulations, even in the midst of rising infection rates. What are some of the pros that you believe came with the lifting, the reasons why they may have done it, or what was fueling that? Because it's not the scientists, that's for sure.
The reason is clear. That's what I just said. The people just were fed up. They couldn't take it any longer. This was the only reason why the politicians have to push forward and said, okay, let's open everything. And I guess they hoped for the best, They hoped that it might not raise that quick. I'm pretty much sure that in the next weeks, the head is on fire,
Okay.
and they're gonna start doing stuff again. You
Oh
know,
my gosh.
closing things, and this is exactly what they always did before. You know, they start randomly doing things, closing up things. They always start normally with the artistry, you know, with
Okay.
the concerts and with all the things. And this is totally the wrong way because. It's not rising right now because the concerts are open again. It's rising because, first of all, it's an COVID variant, which we know, Omicron. It's very
spreads
infectious.
quickly.
It spreads very quickly. And the second thing is people are confused. They don't wear the masks now anymore. There are simple things. We know these simple things works. The FFP2 mask works if you take them correctly.
Okay, wait.
Hygienic stuff works
Before you
if
get
you do
into
it
all that,
correctly.
before you-
And hold on, because this is what happens right now. They
I know,
say,
but before you get into all that, I think it's really best if we break down the pros and the cons. So
There are no pros.
You know, the pros for dropping the mask mandate. Okay.
There is no
so,
pro.
Yeah, there is.
what is the problem?
Okay, some of the pros are one, people want their personal freedom. They want to be able to have some kind of, after all these years, the 3 years, I think this is going on our third,
Yeah.
20,
20,
21, 22. Okay, we're not in 23
No,
yet.
not yet.
You speed it up. Okay, people want their personal freedom. They want to be able to say, I wear this on my face. I do this. I do this. I want to do that. They want freedom from all of this. And also, they want better communication. As you were talking about, they don't trust the government. They don't trust their policies. They don't know why, where, how, who, all of these things. And they're basically fed up and they want their lives back. That's what I have heard just in the streets, for slang, in the streets.
Yeah.
So, you know, and also the perceived risk of wearing a mask, and I say perceived because there are those entities and those people who say, you know, it doesn't matter if I wear a mask or if I, you know, or whatever I wear, whether it's cloth, whether it's paper, whether it's whatever it is, if you breathe, you have the propensity to catch something. You know, people were talking about viral loads. If any infectious disease is more stagnated and dominant in a certain area, then it doesn't matter what you do when you breathe in, whatever you do, you're going to catch this thing. And for some, they say maybe it's just better to catch it and try to live with it and go on about our business.
Yeah, that's what the government
and live
tried
with it.
to tell us.
Those are the people that are for dropping the mask and everything. You know, but now when you get to the cons, what would you say on the other side? The people that say, you know, no, I think it's too much, too soon. What would be the con for keeping the mask or some of the regulations in place, like mask?
That's the point.
Wait, mask indoors, like in the malls. There's 465,000 people out in the malls, and you know people have, because you've dropped the mask, they feel more compelled to do their regular human behavior, and sometimes it's not taking care of others. We're very singular individuals, and they go just not thinking, just off the cuff, like they usually did and used to do. And so when you say drop the mask, you say don't do the hygiene, don't do the coughing.
No,
and
it's
the,
not.
you know.
It's not that they don't.
And so,
no one says don't do this. But what happened with
what
the
are
people
some of the
is
cons?
what happened with the people is that they think now it's all normal. It's all back to normal. The government basically says, let's go, let's drop all these regulations, and therefore they drop their simple regulations that everyone could do, and this is the hygiene. I said it before, you know, the hygiene thing, the coughing into your sleeves, all that kind of stuff, and
Okay.
of course also having your distance to people and taking this mask. The mask, they work if you use them correctly, if you have the correct mask in the right situation. And this is the problem. People take it now for enforce safe system or
a
safety.
sense of security.
Yeah,
They
a false sense of security.
Yeah.
And therefore, we're running exactly this problem. The half of the people who get COVID right now, half of them have no symptoms at all sometimes, and slight, and it's not the problem at all. And the other half, they have very much. They have very much a problem. It's not just a flu. It's much more than a flu.
Yeah, it would
People
be
are
remiss of
laying.
me to put that out there like that because I don't know half of the population.
No,
or
of course
anything
it's
like
not
this.
half, but you hear people saying.
Some of the people that we know,
Yeah.
who have caught this. To me, it's a terrible thing. I think a cold is terrible. So
That's the point. A cold is exactly the terrible, and people getting a cold and people getting a cold and laying for 3 weeks or 4 weeks at home with a cold. So, do you want to have a cold? No, of course not. So, what do? You take care of yourself. You do your hygiene. You be carefully where you go, and you just have this in your back of your mind that I'm one of them. If I get a cold, I'm laying down for a longer time, and I gotta be a little bit careful about this.
So let me just clarify. We've named the position of the pro people that saying, yeah, I'm all for dropping the mask. We can go free, be like normal. We all know that because of everything that's going on in the world besides COVID, we'll never be normal again. We try to move forward. We try to be better people. Now you're talking about some of the cons because the COVID infection was on the rise. But before they dropped the mask mandate and all the regulations, they loosened up. It was already high.
It was rising.
So wait, let me ask my question. How do you fix this in your mind as sane? What were they thinking?
That's why I'm saying most likely, I hope not, but most likely in the next 2-3 weeks they're gonna put the brake on. They're gonna put the brake on because everything's gonna happen, and they probably will not know what to do. Yeah. The scientists will say, we said it already last week, and it's all too late now. And then the politicians doing stupid stuff again like they did before, closing up things, which makes no sense. Just like you said, if you stay with this mask a little bit longer, then maybe it's not rising that fast. Because with this fast rising, what happens? People get sick, a lot of people get sick, a lot of teachers get sick, a lot of doctors get sick. So we have the problems in the school system is not running anymore. The kids getting sick anyway, we know this already. This is just the school from our child, it's raising up, companies will have a lot of problems because a lot of people get sick. They have no people to work anymore. And this is all too fast.
So what you're saying
and
is...
it's uncontrolled. This is the point. It's uncontrolled. The next step of our government is stopping with the tests. So now we don't know nothing anymore. We don't know anymore where and how and what. But on the other hand side, the quarantine is still on. That means if you get it, you gotta get in quarantine. Yeah. So, just in our case, just hear me out. What happens with us as musicians? I know you hear me. Our child gets COVID from school, brings it back home. We have to go in quarantine. We may have symptoms or may have no symptoms. Doesn't matter in that case. I mean, it matters, of course. But what happens in the first place is that we have to go in quarantine. We cannot work anymore. The government does not allow us to work. So we are now back in the hot seat as we were before, as singers, as musicians, as entertainers, that we cannot have our concerts going on. Before they had some kind of, help going on, whatever. This is closed. They say everything is normal now. Everything's open. There are no regulations. You can do your concerts. So there's no help expected anymore from the government as well. So this is a totally unfair tip of the scale.
Okay. So, are you calm? Is your heart beating?
500. No, yeah, it is.
Wait,
It's
a serious matter.
It is serious, but it's also.
I'm glad you weren't a politician at this point because
Maybe
you got my
should.
vote. No, but so the con of dropping the mask mandate, one of them would be the perceived benefit of wearing a mask, not spreading disease. It cannot be just because COVID infections are on the rise, because they were on the rise before they dropped that, before they said, hey, everybody just go, and then, but if the high infection rate gets too high and people start going to the hospital because now they feel a little dragging in and they overwhelm the system again or whatever all that is.
That is already the case.
And then
Yeah.
hold on, and then so we already know that they're gonna start slapping them back on either all at once, like you all are used to this, right? Cover up, distant, blah blah blah, then lockdown. Okay, somewhere late in the summer, fall, especially the winter, which yeah, we can get to that, just like you were saying. So but the problem is that it's not always, in my opinion, as you have said, you said it quickly. It's not always the government's fault that things happen when you have people who say this thing was a hoax. It's nothing but the flu. Wait, or they say
Yeah.
I had it 4 times, and I'm not getting vaccinated because of, I understand now that's a different monster. Okay, that may be a different topic altogether, but still, or just like you said, when in the absence of a mandate, people go buck wild. They lose their mind. And they start doing this, at least working within this behavior of freedom, and they're not paying attention to. Okay, you still have to be careful of different things. You still have to, because they want their freedom. They're tired of it.
I get the freedom problem,
They've
of
been
course.
feared to death.
Yes.
They've been mushed down and isolated. And some people cannot stand isolation not one more minute.
Absolutely. And these people were also, they were almost prosecuted by our government. Some of these people persecuted. Some of these people you're talking about, who were actually against all of that, and they say that's all a hoax and blah, blah, blah. This is not the majority. Yeah, this is a not so small part, but far away from the majority. But these people were pushed in a direction, in a corner from the government with the law and with punishment and whatever and all that kind of stuff. And of course, they're coming out swinging. They come out swinging now, or came out. Now it's a little bit different. And therefore, who were the people who were right before, now they're very right. People who were left before, now they're very left. This is the main problem, and this I must say, this is the problem of the politics. They were not able to keep these people in a normal lane. I know a lot of people, which I presumed as smart people, and I actually had no problem with them at all. And all of a sudden, they were so far right that I think, what's wrong with them? And I thought a lot, how can it be? These are smart people, they have something in their brain, whatever they are doing, and all of a sudden they acting out like crazy folks. And this is exactly what happened. They were pushed in a corner from the government, from the law, that they didn't know anymore what else to do, and they went buck wild in one direction, and the other ones in the other direction. Yeah. This is a politician problem. And it's not just in Austria. This is spread all over the place because no one really knew. The communication was the problem. The communication was not open. People wasn't given a choice or more things to choose from. It was either this way or you're bad, or this way or whatever, And this, I think, is the main problem with this kind of people. I don't think right now they have no responsibility for the explosion of the virus again. It's clear it's the variant, and now it's clear this opening, of course, it was clear that it will explode. It's just about how much it explodes and how fast it explodes.
There were people that were sounding the alarm and saying, hey, wait, too much too soon. Maybe, drop the mask mandate, because first they had us outside and they said, even when you're outside, cover up, da-da-da. Okay, maybe drop that. But inside, when you're in a mall setting and there's 5,000 people, maybe it's the best thing to cover up. I think the government has to start telling the truth, and I don't know if that's possible. Because all
It's-
governments, even whether you're
It's-
here in
yeah.
Austria or whether you're in America, they'd all lie. They all lie and say a little bit of this. It's like juggling those balls. But in Austria, you've had what? This is their third health minister, or is it the fourth?
The third health minister, yeah, and three chancellors.
What
Yeah.
is going on?
And that's the point. You just said it. There's no trust anymore. So the only thing what they could do is let the people have their will for at least a while, because right now they can do nothing anymore. Yeah, this vaccination stuff, what they started, is totally bouncing.
Well, at least they
Almost
called
done
off
with
the
that.
dogs. At least they
Yeah.
called off. You got to get it stuck
Yeah,
in
yeah,
your.
yeah.
That was going badly in the first place.
It was.
Because when you talking about we're gonna hold you down and stick you with this needle, or we're gonna take away your very livelihood, and we're gonna, that's costly. Do you really want to take that chance when governments say you got to stay indoors, can't work, can't this, can't go nowhere? That's costly because you push people too far. Yeah.
That's where you need scientists and politicians to make that
The
clear.
scientists were talking.
Yeah, but still, they were restrained again from the politics,
Yeah.
Because one they start talking, and then the next day you hear a politician say,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's a different thing, I know the
Yeah.
scientists, they want to lock up everyone, but we politicians, we have to
Yeah,
get
it
the
got-
bridge
it
and
kind
do
of-
that
it-
thing.
it
And
really
yes
got
and no,
murky.
but that just don't work like this.
Yeah.
If the data's, and I also do believe that this data thing, is not really taken care in the right way.
How so?
How so? Because right now, for example, all what we see is there are no ICU beds used, almost no. 9% ICU beds are used in Austria, and this is almost nothing. I think with each flu season we have more ICU beds used than right now, but it's not shown that the hospital is still full. It's still full with COVID people.
But the
Of course
problem
they
is
don't-
that the nurses and the doctors, they're getting COVID.
That's
And
the
so
next-
they're short of staff.
yes.
They were short in
Yeah.
the first place, but they're short of staff.
But this-
when this thing first hit, they took, not only in the hospitals, but all over the place. All you saw is your favorite bank teller
Mm-hmm.
who was, almost 50-something years old, 58. Now they were like, go to retirement.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
all
they
of
got
them
rid of
away,
them,
got
yeah,
all of them
really
away.
quick.
So the people that had the most knowledge and the most this. Now, by no means do I think that you're being treated by the neighbor, but in the hospitals. But all I'm saying is that you might be treated by the neighbor. He might be a doctor, but he's retired. And so, but all I'm saying is that what I read in even today's paper is that they're really, really concerned about the infection rising from last week to this week, and even from yesterday to today. They're concerned about that because their nurses and their helpers and everything that makes the hospitals function, they're getting sick. And when you have a certain level of professionality and you know your job, you can't just call up the neighborhood, whatever. You have to call somebody from a nearing hospital.
This
and
is exactly what people are not aware of. And
Mm.
that's why if government says no masks anymore, they put it off and yoo-hoo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If people are aware, again, if people know the truth, if
Yeah.
people know what's going on, if they have all the data, then I'm sure that a lot of people say, okay, we should keep it a little bit more careful, the whole thing, And if we go to the shopping center, you do see people still with masks. There's at least half of them still have the masks on, and they are careful, and they don't trust the peace, so to speak. Yeah? But the other ones don't. And what happens with the school is the same, Normally in the schools, the kids don't have to wear masks anymore.
Yeah.
So of course they go home. It's the same like it was before. They go home to their parents. They go home to the grandparents, the Oma and Opa.
Yeah.
They go home to people who might have a little bit more problem with the COVID infection than other people.
Yeah.
So nothing really changed there. We had the situation 2 years ago where it says beware of the elderly, beware
Yeah.
of the people.
I basically don't hear that today.
No, they don't say it
I don't
anymore.
hear
But it's
it
still
at
the
all.
same. It's still the same.
They think just because they've got 3 shots, jabs, 3 jabs, so it's not to prevent, but you
Surely.
surely won't die. And
People
it's
died of the flu. Older people with problems died of a cold.
yeah.
It is still serious. It's not just something. Yeah. And if there is a way to prevent people dying from a flu, then you would do it.
Yeah.
And now we do have some ways to control things. We have testing, we have masks, we have the awareness of people, or at least we had them, that there is a
Distance.
problem. And now this all,
It's distance,
Yeah.
you know that.
and now
that
this
you
all
try
is
to
cut
keep
off from the top. And therefore, we are
So,
in the
so
same
you're saying
pot as
that
before.
at least for most governments, or at least this government, there's too many mixed messages. I saw too many cooks in the kitchen. Last
Yeah.
year there were so many people baking pies. I was like, which pie? Which? What should we do? How should we do? And some were baking cookies. We just didn't know what was going on. And so now you have new folks stepping in, because in the winter they should just be seasonal, because you had your winter.
Our politicians are seasonal. There's no 4 years, it's just 4 months.
And then they kind of move on. And I get it. It's a hard job, especially in a pandemic. But I wonder when we're going to get to the endemic, which means it's still here, but we're learning how to deal. And
I don't hear no one talking about how we're gonna handle the fall, because the fall is gonna come again, like the last 2 years. It's gonna be a problem. It's a flu season, like you said it. So it's also an all around season for COVID, of course.
They're talking about, in some circles, they're talking about 4th jab and booster and all this. But when we get back to the mask mandates, are you pro or are you con? Are you for dropping all the mask mandates and regulations, or are you,
I'm
raging against the machine?
No, I'm for very well thought out things to control. Yeah, and we had something already. I'm for the masks in certain situations, absolutely. I'm for the testing. We still need the testing going on. People need to know what's going on. I need to know. I want to test. And if I have to pay 70 euro for a PCR test, it's not going to work. Even if it's 50 or 20, it doesn't work. You cannot do that twice, 2 to 3 times
Because
a week.
people aren't going to go and do it.
Of course not.
They're not going to take that
It's
test.
not possible. And therefore, all this control is gone. And this is, I think, the wrong way. I am for opening things. I want to play my concerts. I want to go out there. I want to have stuff,
Yeah.
And it did work the whole 2 years that we have now. Every time concerts were put on and entertainment was put on, people made a way. They thought of things to make a distance. They thought of things for hygiene. They thought of masks, whatever. Everything was somehow possible, and even the audience went with it and did it.
Yeah.
You make the concert shorter. You do flooding the room with air and whatever. The enough of measurements were taken to make things possible, and that still can be done like this right now too. Therefore, yes, I am for dropping some restrictions, of course, but not all, not from one day to another. Yeah, it is like you said, with a strike of a
stroke of a
pen, it's now over.
It's over.
Can we make a little break real quick? Because these things are good. You should try them.
Okay, you're going to talk about,
Yeah.
we're going to sponsor and recommend. So, this is popcorn that I just want to recommend. And guess what? I'm recommending, and we're not even getting paid for it. It's called Country Pops. You got to read the rest because it's in German.
I had actually had a speech prepared, but they're just good. This is popcorn,
You can say
would
your speech. I'll just eat.
what is the special with popcorn? You know, these are popcorns. They are really from the farmer directly. They are hand packed. That means there is no machine involved with packing, no machine with cleaning, whatever. It's unrefined. It's really just popcorn,
It is good.
and it does taste different.
Yes, it
does
does.
taste good.
It does.
Just if you make them, be aware, use some oil that you can heat up till at least 180 degrees Celsius. Then
You
you're
gotta
fine.
show
You know?
the product. You know what I mean?
And
That's
they are
what you-
called
It's called Country
Country
Pops,
Pops.
from Kettelhof.
Kettlehof. This is actually just beside our house. You know that. So that's
Yes.
really from our neighborhood.
So it's yes, and
So
it's
thank
family
you.
owned.
Thank you very much for these popcorns. We like them a lot. We're gonna show stuff that we like.
We are going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm keeping you talking so so I can eat.
Exactly. We, just like Chile already said, we're not get paid for that. No sponsorship, no nothing. But we like it, and maybe you like it
Yeah,
too.
so from time to time, or every time, we might bring some food on here
And
because we like to eat. Yes, we do.
I just write the name and the stuff down at the.
Yeah, that would be
thing.
great. That would be great.
That's fine.
So, yeah, Country Pops.
Country Pops. You know, maybe you tell us what you think about
Yeah,
it.
that would be nice. Maybe like, comment, share on That's What We Think.
Subscribe.
Exactly. That's most important.
Because we have a lot of more to say.
Yes, on various topics, and
Don't forget to look up our other podcasts already. We're talking a little bit about ourselves,
Yes.
what we do as a musicians, VBCT.
yes. And what's that address? www.vbct.co.at.
It's also
That's
there.
from that. Yes, it's also all down there. And we want you to, if you're in Austria and you have access to, I guess, this Maximart,
Oh,
get
the popcorn.
that country popcorn.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will not be disappointed, because this popcorn is good.
Okay.
Yes, you're smacking though.
See you the next time.
Okay, so we want to tell you bye-bye, and guess what? That's
What?
we.
Think.
Yes. Now we want to know what you think. Comment. Come back at us. Bye-bye. You're going to go out.
Don't stop
eat.
dreaming,
Good, you put some song on it. I was like, oh, no.
dreaming, keep on singing, da-da-da, da-da-da, standing tall.